Emmanuel, God is with us. Emmanuel, God is with us. Okay, today I wanted to talk about the whole concept of a lasagna planting where you plant early, mid, and late items in the same container so that you can have a continuous bloom season over a lengthy period of time. I've been talking about it this year. You've seen me plant my bulbs, and you've never seen a lot of flowers at one time, but you've seen consistent flowers over a lengthy period of time. It's now getting to the end of the blooming season for my spring bulbs, and the spring flowers will take over next. These leaves here that look so beautiful, those big full leaves there, are my hyacinth. You can still see the hyacinth flower there, but the flower is gone. But that is beautiful foliage. I like it. This was my most successful hyacinth planting. That's what I wanted in all of them. I wanted that big, beautiful hyacinth leaves to set off the balance of the flower arrangement. Then we have these little daffodils. These are jonquils. This particular jonquil, the petticoat, is a multi-bloomer, and it's supposed to bloom over a long period of time. In the ground, it blooms over a long period of time. The flowers are very short, and therefore it is better in a container than it is in the ground. On top of that, I use the emperor tulips. These tulips last 6 weeks for me in the ground, but they bloom in January for me in Southern California. So, but I planted some late this year, and you would have seen where I was discussing how I was trying to delay my blooms so that I would have them during the Easter holiday and into spring. And it is the Holy Week right now, and I have a nice festooning for my guests. As you can see, my late flowers are still coming. These emperors are secondary flowers, and the ones that I planted earlier have been blooming for a while. The foliage, you see the tulip foliage there from tulips that have passed on. If you do it right, the emperor tulips have foliage that looks beautiful. They get really big, blousy leaves that look like a robe. And so anything that comes after that is fine. And you can see my regular house plants there in the base of the arrangement, looking just fine as well. These items are all relatively drought tolerant, and they make a pretty arrangement during the cooler time of the year. The first thing to bloom were my daffodils here, and the foliage of that kind of mimics the look of grass. I think grass wouldn't have looked as neat to me as this foliage, this reed-like foliage in here. It just looks nice to me. And at the bottom, you see the long foliage hanging down. That is the foliage of the muscari. I see muscaris are long blooming, and you see there that bluish flower there. There's a muscari. It is still blooming. It's not in its heyday, but it is still blooming. And tulips are still coming up here and there. So I just wanted to explain to you. You can go back and look at my plantings, see all the bulbs I put in. I start them in a smaller pot so I don't have to water as much. And then after they get going, I try to move them in time for them to get a large root system. One thing I learned, put your hyacinths in a big pot early on so that you can get this kind of foliage, and make sure that the soil is new and provides enough nutrients for the hyacinths to get big. These hyacinths did bloom for about a month as well. So, and they kept getting taller and taller. As you can see, these hyacinth blooms are a foot long, and one even had a secondary bloom on it. Here's another planting here. I planted all red tulips, but as you can see, you never know what you're going to get. This was all an endless tulip planting where you got early, mid, and late season tulips. I got it from Bluestone, And as you can see, they sent me some flowers that were not red. These are apricot tulips. These are apricot tulips, and those are supposed to be early tulips. They are not supposed to be mid-season tulips, and the same with the emperor tulips. They're supposed to be early, but I guess from this spot, the earlies have come, and maybe the mids and lates are still to come. I also planted anemones. You can see the muscari is still blooming, so it provides a consistency. When nothing else was blooming here, the muscari had the pot full. There are daffodils in here. You can see the spent flowers of the daffodils, but I think that looks pretty. I like seed heads, so I leave my seed heads as decoration. You see the muscari seed heads have those big seeds on them. If the birds weren't eating them, it'd be full of those. I will say to you, the windsong anemone, that's that wide leaf there, that's from the anemone. It's the only thing that has a wide leaf to it. I didn't get a lot of flowers in this planter, so I think windsong I might try next year in the ground, because I just got a few flowers. I didn't get many at all. I do know they say that those aren't that reliable for giving you flowers later on, but I just wanted to, now that you can visually see it and see the impact over a long period of time, and you can go back when you see my videos and you see all blue flowers, those leaves are still there filling out the pot. Now, I would not want this pot to be half empty and be trying to figure out some other foliage in there. The hyacinth has beautiful foliage. If you put it in the front of your pot and it hangs down, it becomes the spiller for whatever comes next. These are the little jonquils are the filler, and then the tall tulips take the place of the daffodils as the thriller, alongside my palm tree there, which is quite a thriller as well. But you know, those are there all the time. That's the other thing. This is planted in the base of trees in a pot. If you have a lot of trees that root deeply, a lot of tropical trees root very deeply, so their root system is really in the bottom of their pot. You could pull off 2, 3, 4 inches of soil off the top of the pot, and there's usually no roots in it. So I just wanted to discuss that with you and all of that, you know. I hope this video, which is a synopsis, because I feel like, you know, unless something major happens, this is the whole spring show. And now we will go on to flowers that, you know, regular spring and summer flowers that are drought tolerant for the summer, you know.